Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass. This is a Conquest Battle Report. I am once again recording from the wonderful studio industries of Jeff's basement. Jeff, when you hear this, I'm still in your basement. But we're going to be talking about the Red Deer tournament that happened in Alberta, Canada, the Tournament of Love. And I'm going to address it like that every single time because I think it's funny. So at the Tournament of Love, we had 14 players. We had a good... we didn't have all the factions covered. I don't believe there was any Spires, City-States. There was Nords. There was no Yoni. They weren't out yet. So I think they're also coming out after Adepticon anyway. And there was one more faction that was not represented. 100K was there. Old Dominion was there. Dweghom was there. Nords was there. I feel like I'm missing something. I want to say Sorcerer Kings maybe wasn't there. Out of the 14 players, there was a lot of tripling up. So there was like 3 Wadrhun players, 3 Dweghom players, 3 100K players. Maybe there was even 3 Nords players. Like I don't remember. My matchups was the round 1 Dweghom mirror match. What was always exciting because it's Dweghom on Dweghom action. Then I played into 2 Wadrhun speakers lists in round 2 and in round 3. They were similar and had similar to each other, but also had some differences. We'll talk about them when we kind of get to those rounds. But also playing Brian from LVO. Good job, Brian, for once again winning LVO. The game I played into him taught me a lot of things to do into that list and what that list also wants to do. And so having that practice beforehand really allowed me to capitalize on it into these games. It was really good. So, you want to lose your practice games so you can win your tournament games. The only games that actually matter for winning are the tournament games. You want to lose all your practice games, to be honest. So let's get into, I guess round 1, but little side tangent is the list I'm playing is Dweghom. It's the Frenzied Frame / Raegh Goons list. So that is going to be Hold Raegh, Warlord, double Hold Warriors, double Ironclad into Ardent Kerawegh with double Flame Berserkers and a Magmaforged. And then you're going to duplicate that warband for another Ardent Kerawegh, double Flame Berserkers and Magmaforged. Ardent Keraweghs are going to be hanging out with the Magmaforged. Hold Raegh is going to be hanging out in a Hold Raegh. I'm not going to go super in depth. I'm going to probably post a list in the description below for anyone who wants to see it. If you have more questions, I have plenty of battle reports before where I go more in depth in it. And if I forget to post it while I'm editing, just drop a comment and let me know. I'll just, add it into the description. It'll be fine. All right, let's get into game 1. Here's game 1. So first things first, I'm just going to do this in, let's say yellow. Does yellow look good here? Yep. Okay, so yellow. Coming to this table, initially there was a big house like right on the zone for this scenario. We are playing what looks like Echelon, and the house was basically like that. So first off the bat, I called the T over and was like, hey, can we get that house moved? That thing is massive. It was like 9.5 inches by 9.5 inches. Kind of the same diameter of this hill over here, what's just also huge, but the hill's not as bad. You can traverse over it. You're gonna see me do some weird stuff to actually have my minis on it, but also not falling over. One of the things I did see was that people were I'll do it in orange, building a little like dice stack to hold up one end of the regiment. I just took my minis off of the stand that was overlapping and kind of just like had one stand and the other 2 stands for that regiment were just sitting behind it so they wouldn't fall over. T.O. came over, he quickly adjusted the building after we laid out the scenario, and terrain on here is going to be pretty consistent. I'll just do it in black. We have our instructions. Bloop, 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 bloop. These got moved over so that we could, have some paths and play. In red, there's the big hill. In orange is, I believe this is hindering. And then in green, we have 2 forests. And I'll do it in blue. This like 12-inch circle on every single table is going to be water. So that's kind of like the terrain we played with. It wasn't bad. The terrain layout itself, I don't mind. After we got the big yellow building adjusted, I believe that one got thrown back in the bin. It was just too big. Like it's blocking off too much. And also, if we did play with that, I would just run a unit of Flame Berserkers right here, and then my opponent would be unable to interact with me at all, unable to contest that zone, and I would just score to win, and it wouldn't really be a game. Two, gentleman's name is Tom. Did a fantastic job running the event. Did a fantastic job dealing with any rules questions. Did a fantastic job handling any terrain issues. He was great. Love Tom. He did an awesome job of this event, and he ran a fantastic Tournament of Love. So, let's get into the actual game itself. Round 1, I get 2 Flame Berserks. Bloop, bloop. My opponent gets 1 of his Flame Berserks. We'll just do, we'll do you in blue. We always do you in blue. Bloop. I want to give a shout out real quick to Garrett from Sewn Geekery. It's Garrett with 2 T's. He provided, not really provided, I bought these from him, these wonderful objective tokens. I'm going to do his color in this light green. So we got the friendly ones that are red, enemy ones that are blue, and the neutral ones that are black. They have little dices, like dice slots you can put in so you can track wounds, and they even tell you, whose opponent inside they're for. Those are really fantastic. I think a set's $60 and you get like six of them. He even put the BonkTable logo on mine for me, so it was really nice. So thank you very much, Garrett, for those. We used them in this tournament, so you're going to get tons of advertisement for them. All right. Actual game itself. So I'm playing Frenzied Flame. It's kind of an aggro pressure list, so I'm immediately going to start putting pressure onto my opponent. My opponent only is kind of playing like 1 of everything, so he's got like 1 Flame Berserker, 1 unit of Hold Thanes, 1 unit of Ballista, 1 unit of Fireforge, 1 unit of Steelforge, and a unit of Initiates. And I think he has a unit of Wardens, like that's roughly his list. For myself, I'm immediately looking to score, so I just kind of, run both Flame Berserkers up the table. I forget if I go first or he goes first, but it really doesn't matter. I knew what my play was going to be, and he counters with his unit. His stuff doesn't score. I think I don't know. Oh, he took the Ardent Kerawegh Warlord so that he has more charging in the zone. He never uses Supremacy. I think there was 1 turn where he should have, and we'll see if we get there and remember exactly what turn, but I think it was like turn maybe 2 or 3 or 4. Let's go 3 or 4. Where he could have, shot up and done a bunch of damage and kind of try to push me back. I get really aggressive with this because he doesn't really have much, and I can really set the line of engagement. I can really keep him back while scoring the zone. The whole point of this is that I want to score my zone, doing a green, and I want to keep him off his zone as much as possible throughout the game, and that'll lead to a victory, as well as taking some objective markers. So, double Flame Berserks, aggressive punch forward, going to be able to capitalize and score the zone, and then also be able to push forward and start killing his stuff and getting into his backline. That's the plan. Let's go to turn 2. Here's turn 2. So things that come onto the table, I get my other unit of Flame Berserkers, and I get the Magmaforged with the Ardent Kerawegh. My opponent gets the Wardens and the Ardent Kerawegh with his block of Initiates. So I have another unit of Flame Berserkers just sitting in reserve. They'll come out later. Things that go on first, we start kind of like making plays at each other of like drawing character cards who aren't going to do anything. My opponent smartly puts his Initiate block marching towards the zone. It's going to be really hard to dislodge them, and that's one of the big reasons why I threw this Magmaforged block right up here. In orange, I check the distance to make sure that I have coverage to get past this objective and past this building with the 4 wide, because I'm planning to have those Magmaforged kind of run in there and do a bunch of cleave 2. And that should be enough damage to kind of really put a dent in the Initiates and, hopefully kill them. The Flame Berserks over there, they're really there just to provide support. So either A, if the Magmaforged die, or B, if I can get a side charge into the flank of the Initiates, they'll do a ton of damage. And so that was my play there. On the other side, my opponent, he sees the Flame Berserkers coming. He doesn't, if he runs his Flame Berserkers forward, they're just going to die. So he kind of makes a play around the ejector marker, as you can see, just kind of like moving over and rotating a bit, trying not to get charged, but I, kind of inform as I run up here is that I can, just charge right here and it'll be fine. Like I'll get 2 stands in, 1.5, 2 stands in, and I'll have 1 support. That should do enough damage to kind of hurt them. And if you come to me, I have this other unit of Flame Berserkers that are just going to swing into the side. I set it up so that I won't hit the ejector marker when I do snap 2, if he gets the Supremacy roll next turn. However, he does follow up with the Wardens. That position is... So, Wardens on that side is good. The positioning behind the Flame Berserkers I think is bad. I think those Wardens should have been coming out of this forest more, or having the Flame Berserkers come out of the forest while the Warden's taking that position, so that he can also counter whatever I'm countering. So at that point, if he sends his first Flame Berserkers in, hits mine, and then I send my other Flame Berserkers, hit him in the flank, I'll have 1 stand in the zone, he'll activate his Supremacy, the Wardens will get a speed buff, the Wardens can then charge out and hit those Flame Berserkers. So, you know, we're peace trading, we're collapsing on each other, and that's what's kind of going over here. This is the start of my opponent making the mistake that kind of allows me to win this game. And that's him getting stuck on his own toes. He's already kind of getting jammed up in backlog, and you're going to see it start here, and you're going to see it develop more into the round 3. So let's go into round 3. Also, I scroll this down. Boop, done. Here's round 3. Okay, so things that go on. I know my opponent is going to be coming up with these initiates. Actually, I should talk about like things that are coming on the table before we get to them. Things that come on the table: Flame Berserks, both Hold Warriors? No, one Hold Warrior's hanging out. Looks like it. No, both Hold Warriors. Yeah, both Hold Warriors. They're right there. There's the Raegh and the other guy. The other unit of Magmaforged. 1 Drake, so I have a Drake in reserve. I think my opponent might have got everything. So we have Ballista with Tempered Steel Shaper, Fireforge, Steel Forge, and Hold Thanes. I don't know if anything else is coming on the table. I don't think so off the top of my head. I think there was a lot of points and characters and stuff. My opponent is, you know, this is just kind of playing whatever they have at a tournament. What's okay, fine and dandy. I'm just glad the gentleman's playing. It's always good to get tournament games in because it's just a bunch of games really quick, so you really pick up on your mistakes and learn a lot. That's really great. So, things that got on first. I believe he wins the roll-off. He shoots his Flame Berserkers into me, does a bunch of damage. I counter with my Flame Berserkers, do a bunch of damage to him. I should probably put that in blue. So let's put that in blue really quick. So I'm like, okay, whatever. My other unit of Flame Berserkers just kind of sits there for a while because I'm waiting to like outcard my opponent, and I start bringing things on the table. One of the things I know is that on the left here, these initiates are going to be going for the zone. So I have an Ardent Kerawegh card near the bottom of my stack, and it's specifically for the Magmaforged to walk up like they do, and then to cast the don't score spell what I get off onto those initiates, so my opponent doesn't score this turn. What's really good, because, you know, I don't want my opponent to score. I then put this unit of Hold Warriors, you know, in the zone. They're going to sit there the entire game. As my opponent deploys like his Thanes and his Steel Shapers and his Ballistae, I realize that, okay, I believe this is the majority of his list. He's very central. He doesn't have very much wiggle room. If I can kind of keep his Thanes and his Steel Shapers and Fireforge all stuck in the middle, I'll just do it in... We'll do it in... let's do it in yellow. I like yellow. If we keep these 3 units kind of stuck in the middle, they're not going to be able to contribute. I'm just going to take the zones for free and apply a ton of pressure and allow me to engage on my terms. So to do that, I start putting pressure on the Ballistae by having this Flame Berserker unit come onto the table and start making their way towards them. So that's going to apply pressure there and take away shots from the other Flame Berserkers and such. It's a fire tempered sorcerer in those Ballistae, so he's just shooting fireballs. I got interference from the Ardent Kerawegh and the Magmaforged who are coming up because after the Wardens are done, because my opponent, you know, can't really engage the other Flame Berserkers without getting charged by the other Flame Berserkers. He's stuck behind his own guys. He just kind of moves those Wardens around there, so I'll choose... we'll go with this yellow. He just kind of like diddles there. And then once, you know, those guys have activated, that's when I send in these Flame Berserkers to hit from the side and kill off those other Flame Berserkers. So those 2 can free up and keep pushing. And that also means, you know, when those Hold Thanes got dropped, the Magmaforged, I'll just do an orange. You know, they're coming up the table because they're looking to get into the Hold Thanes. But there's a lot coming up, so I'm making this massive swing on the right side of the table. On the left side of the table, my opponent's kind of countering with the Steel Forge to try and get in and hold off the Magmaforged and Flame Berserkers. I can't really, like, jump on his zone or anything, so me casting the no score spell, shutting him down once he makes that play, and I just kind of move my stuff up so that I can either charge with these Magmaforged, or, you know, I can charge him with these Flame Berserkers, or if he wants to charge me, he's coming off the zone and exposing his flank, what allows me to drop this Drake here to make a big sweep with the Drake into the side. Once those initiates collapse to all that cleave 2, that'll be open, like, it'll be opened up, then he just has Steel Forge in my way. Then I can break through that and I can get to the juicy parts. I put the Raegh and the Hold Warriors back here. I'll do it in green. Just because I'm thinking like, oh, you know, if it's not going my way, if I can at least have space on the zone, at some point I can fill it with the Raegh and get a turn of scoring for free no matter what my opponent has on there. So I'm just making a contingency in case, you know, my Magmaforged, Flame Berserkers, and Ironclad Drake die. What's still good to have because the whole Raegh will go, take that zone, and I'm hoping that's what happens. So at least I can score some points there. As for scoring, score my zone. That's it. Next turn. Here is turn 3. I get my Drake. Drake. That's it. Okay, so things that go on. I believe I start activating Flame Berserkers. So like this unit of Flame Berserkers goes into Wardens, does a bunch of damage. But then the Wardens, I think, kill them off, and then the other unit of Flame Berserkers go in, does a bunch of damage, and they're just kind of sitting there, and then like the Fireball, Tempered Steel Shaper, Ballistae like shoot at them and do a bunch of damage. What allows me to run up with these flanking Flame Berserkers to get within charge range for next turn. So now they've drawn the shots over there because that's the main fight, but he's going to lose those Ballistae and Tempered Sorcerer to that unit of Flame Berserkers. And as you can see in orange here, I got the Magmaforged doing that weird thing with the trade out so that I can still keep the position of the unit while also dealing with the hill. They're looking to swing around potentially into the flank. We'll do it in orange as well. Of whatever unit's over here. If there's enough space to do so, once the Ballistae die and, move through the Flame Berserkers and hopefully touch either the Thanes in the side will do a bunch of damage, and then the Hold Warriors are just moving up to keep people off the zone for later and scoring that for me. That's the big one over there. Okay, so other things that go on is these Magmaforged charge in, as you can see. Boop. Do a bunch of damage to the Initiates. The Initiates fight back, do a bunch of damage to the Magmaforged, but I have a character, command stand, and another stand, so that's going to be 7 stands to his 3, so I'm going to score that zone. He did put the 1 stand of Steel Forge in there, but I'm still going to score that because 7 beats 4. Good job, I have both zones. Realizing that I can't really get any more in there, like the building, I'll just do in black here for you, is blocking the way. I start looking at alternative routes to kind of keep pushing aggression and also seeing what else I can take. So the Flame Berserkers kind of move up and start getting in such a way that once the Magmaforged die, the Flame Berserkers can replace. The Ironclad Drake goes for the objective, wipes it out. Good job. The other Ironclad Drake is getting ready to jump the Hold Warriors, who are moving up to kind of keep up pressure, keep the Ironclad Drake safe from Steel Forge, in case they try and make a long bomb in or something crazy. But they're also looking to get into that zone at some point and freeing up other things to keep moving and pushing in. My opponent still getting stuck on his feet here. He's got the Steel Forge in front of the Fire Forge, so the Fire Forge can't see over the Steel Forge to shoot the Magmaforge. The Steel Forge can't get into the Magmaforge, so they kind of just like dirtle up and try and get into the zone to replace the Initiates. So on the left side, he's just stuck on his own toes. He's got the Steel Forge jam, he's got the Fire Forge jam. They're not contributing shots, they're not contributing work. So that's blundering units. While my issue is that everything's getting really tight, so I kind of have to just layer my actions and hopefully like trade up at this point. I'm still scoring both zones, but I need to keep that pressure on so that he doesn't break out and I can win this game. So that's going on. What is this, turn 4? So let's go to turn 5. Here's turn 5. What else goes on? Okay, so things that do go on. I believe Flame Berserkers do a bunch of activations, so we get Flame Berserkers into the Ballistae, who take a bunch of damage and live with a couple wounds, like I think with 1 wound, or death doesn't kill them, and they kill off a stand. Not the, good trade. Flame Berserkers kill Wardens. The Hold Thanes decide to charge the ejective marker because they can't actually swing into the Flame Berserkers properly without hitting the ejective marker and won't have a legal charge. So they have, I'll just get rid of that arrow. Oh, let's not do that. There we go. They have, I'll do it in this yellow, a stand right here. And at that point, I swing in just enough of my Magmaforged to clear the Flame Berserkers because there's a stand dead, and get into the side of the Thanes where I do 2 stands worth of damage, breaking them, and they're engaged with the objective. I somehow now, I guess, engage with the objective as well. That's just kind of how we played it. I don't know if I can't press the attack because the objective's in the way after he died. I don't believe he moved, so now he's stranded but still stuck with the objective, and the Flame Berserkers are just sitting in front after killing off the Wardens. So I'm in a really good spot there. Like, the right side's collapsing. Hold Warriors once again sitting in the zone. Score that. Good job, guys. And on the right side, Magmaforged, you perform very poorly. I think you might kill off a stand. And the Initiates kill off another stand. So Magmaforged are slowly dying. I then have to reform the Ironclad Drake and charge in after shuffling the Flame Berserkers out of the way because they didn't really have a spot. And maybe I should have, in black here, gone around the side, but I feel like that takes way too long, and it's very obvious I'm doing it, and it's just like, keep applying pressure, stay on the zones. I have 6, 7, 8, 9 to my opponent's 5, so once again, I'm going to score the zone for double points. Good job, me. And my other Ironclad Drake, I just make the aggressive play to move forward. Steel Forge on my opponent's side, move over more because he knows these Initiates are dying and he needs to kind of keep control of that zone and also get ready to replace them with Steel Forge. However, this does free up the Fire Forge, who I believe takes shots at either the Hold Warriors or the Magmaforged and deal a bunch of damage. And then the Hold Ray and his unit just run up right in front. So I'm going to tie up those Fire Forge, or they're going to waste all their shots into the Hold Warriors with the Raegh. I'm kind of fine with that trade because it's keeping the Drake safe, who will then eventually just go in and do a bunch of stuff. There's plenty of juicy targets the Drake can hit at this point, just depending on what gets freed up, and he can be the last card of the stack. So let's go to turn 6. Here's turn 6. I don't remember who gets the roll off, but things that do happen. My opponent kills the Hold Warriors. Oh no, they just took a bunch of Fire Forge to the face and died. That's fine. As for myself, Flame Berserkers kill off the Tempered Steel Shaper, and actually no, I think Aura of Death actually kills off the Tempered Steel Shaper, or they do. It doesn't, whatever. One of the two do. Initiates, I believe they die, and then do they die? I think the Initiates. No, they do die. I think they die maybe to Aura of Death, and the character clashes and kills off the Magmaforged. Or they got the drop on the Magmaforged. Oh yeah, they totally got the drop on the Magmaforged, because that's why the Flame Berserkers are here. So the Initiates kill off the Magmaforged, Flame Berserkers charge in, kill them. I think the Drake muffled a bunch of rolls, killed them like they were just living. My opponent was making some god tier saves and was like, please die, go away. However, as you can see during that whole me trying to kill him, Steel Forge move over, because at this point I'm trying to make my opponent waste as many activations as possible. And after the Hold Warriors died, it freed up a spot for my other second Ironclad to charge into the Fire Forge. I think the Clash does a bunch of wounds, but nothing too crazy. Also for the Hold Thanes, they're kind of sitting there. I put the other unit of Flame Berserkers into them. They rally Clash. Don't do a ton of damage. I made a bunch of saves and they missed a bunch. And because I'm into the objective, I start putting damage in the objective. And I'm still scoring both zones. That's it. So we're just kind of wrapping her up now on turn 7. Here's turn 7. Steel Forge. I believe that was my opponent's first activation. Charges into my Flame Berserkers, does a ton of damage. I then activate my Ironclad Drake, do a bunch of damage back. Other unit of Flame Berserkers does a bunch of damage back. You can kind of see all the wounds back there. But I am in control of that zone, so I'm scoring it. Hold Thane. They kill off the Flame Berserks. I make another damage into the objective marker. That's blue. Let's do this properly. Kills off my Flame Berserks. Then me putting damage in the objective marker. So it's got 1 health left for both of us. The other Flame Berserkers, you got nothing to do. You just run to the objective and start working on it. You kind of got 3 turns to kill it, so hopefully you get it done so I get some more points. But I'm still scoring both zones, and my opponent is kind of just pitting out at this point. Next turn. Here's next turn. What exactly happens here? I know I killed the objective marker, but I also forget how I get into the Hold Thane and kill him, to be honest. I couldn't tell you how I did it. He did die. I just don't remember how. He might have combat reformed into me, and then I might have clashed him and the objective or something, but I know I kill that objective for points, and that's about it. Over on the other side, my opponent with his Steel Forge hanging out, I just have, my Drake and the other Flame Berserk and the other Ironclad all just kind of attack it until it dies. I think they were living a lot. Like, he's making some really good saves, but the big part of this, that what happened is that he got stuck on himself. His position was too tight. He couldn't unpack his list, and I took advantage of that and applied a lot of pressure and just put in a ton of threats that were overlapping. So every time he killed something, there was something there to replace it, or there was more waiting to find that next hole that was going to be created when stands died. And so I take out my opponent. I believe the next slide is going to be score, so let's go check that out. So yeah, so first game, 57-2. Well done for my opponent. Gentleman's name was Mike. Thank you very much for playing me, Mike. Good game overall. I had fun. It was just kind of executing what the list wants to do, what is apply pressure, deny board space, layer threats, and trade up. And it did that in this case. So let's go to round 2. Here's round 2. I am playing into... I don't know what to exactly call this style of list. I've just been calling it like LVO Brian, and I think I might just stick with that. Brian does have a name for it, and this is a variant of... It isn't like someone looked at Brian's list and then made a variant. It's just kind of like how you play a Speaker's Wadrhun list. And so you'll see in this how people kind of play it and like make changes for what they have and how they feel what is working for them. In this, I believe this is Adrian, also known as Ironclad Drake, on the Discord, so you can go bother him. Good guy, super nice, great player, had a very enjoyable game with him, but he is playing Speaker's Wadrhun, what is not necessarily an aggressive list, even though it has a lot of pieces for aggression. He is going to be playing, I believe, triple Raptor Rider, 1 hunting pack, Predator with slingers. He has a mounted Predator in a hunting pack. And kind of, I'll just do it in like yellow or something. You can see it right there. There we go. And he's got Thunder Chieftain with double MSU Thunder Riders, an Apex, and a unit of Braves. I believe that's his list. I think he has like the initial aggro, what's pretty good. Like the 3 units of Raptor Riders I actually quite like. Hunting pack is always good, but I also like double Raptor Rider, double hunting pack. I think like 3 Raptor Riders is good, and then into double hunting pack is also good with Thunder Rider, Apex. And then you could go into like Chosen a Conquest, what my third Wadrhun player did, and we'll talk about his list when we get there. But I had a good time with this one. So we're playing, I believe this is off balance. So my opponent, I'm a little worried. I want to see like if he's going to hold back, because I played Brian, and Brian held back until turn 3 when the Thunder Chieftain gets by, because Raptor Rider's hunting pack, everybody with shock is way more killy than you think. But without shock, they won't pull as much weight as you need them to. You have the speed advantage because of how fast everything is. Use it. You don't need to threaten, like you don't need to push forward, apply pressure, be really quick and do a bunch of damage early on. You want to wait until turn 3, and you want to wait and deny board space by not activating things that are on the table right away, using your range shots, killing things that are out of position, stuff like that. Just doing harassment until turn 3 when the Thunder Riders finally show up with the Apex, and on turn 4 you can do the real damage. So you're not going to be pushing up really fast. For myself, I get what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stands. So that's 3 units of Flame Berserkers. In off balance, you tend, I'll just do it in yellow, to tend to go for this zone what's in between the ejecta markers, because once you take that zone, you now have a choice of flexing outward to what ejecta marker you want to do, and then you do a declined flank to the other zone to either A, contest it, or B, take it once the main battle is over. That's how I've kind of seen it played out a bunch. There's other ways to play it, but that's how this one's going to play out. So for myself, I just deploy all 3 Flame Berserkers in a big freaking line, and I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to take that zone. I'm going to put pressure on you. You're going to have to deal with this. My opponent, Raptor Rider the first, Raptor Rider the second, Slingers in the woods, Hunting Packway on the flank. I think these are all great initial positions. You're going to see in turn 2 him pulling up way too close. As for myself, I should have put my Flame Berserkers probably at like 12.5, and then they would have been safe from slinger shots, and he would have had to march, like he wouldn't be able to get me. But At 13, he just has just enough range to hit one of my slinger units. You'll see that on turn 2. So with this, he's putting a ton of pressure onto that middle zone. So if I go for it, he's going to have a lot of things to hurt me with. While also in yellow over on the right side, protecting the right zone with the hunting pack and potentially doing a wide swing into my flank where the hunting pack are going to excel because of opportunist. I think this is a fantastic position. I, for myself, on turn 2, are going to have to counter with something here to keep that hunting pack away from me. Because if they just get into the sides, they're going to do a ton of damage, and I can't have that while I'm pushing up. So let's go turn 2 and see how that happens, or, you know, see what goes on. Okay, so turn 2. I get, doing orange here, Flame Berserks, Magmaforged Kerawegh. My opponent gets Braves. Yeah, he only has one medium, so it's Braves. His other unit, Raptor Eyes, didn't show up, so it'll show up next turn. My opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. I believe I get him to go first. He kind of, you know, activates some characters. I activate some characters. I start throwing up my Magmaforged up the table to start kind of like making my opponent waste activations because I don't want to deal with any of his stuff. My opponent starts with the slinger unit, you know, walking them forward, shooting a bunch of shots into these flame berserkers here who are like way back here at this point. I lose a stand. I'm like, oh, that's not that great, but we are going to be making a 3 flame berserker play on my opponent very shortly, so that it's going to be really tough because it's going to be Raptor Eyes and Slingers, and I'm going to be trading pieces either equally or up. And that's my goal. The Magmaforged on the right side here, they're just wide enough to fit, and they can swing in here to deal with Raptor Riders or anything else that comes that way, while the Magmaforged in the middle can, you know, take over the middle and push out this way. So I'm trying to like sweep across the table. The other Flame Berserkers on the right side are literally there just to defend themselves for hunting pack. My opponent famines, rolls the 6, gets into the Flame Berserkers, does a couple wounds of damage, doesn't wipe out his stand, and I'm like, oh, okay. Then, you know, the Raptor Riders kind of like walk up. I think these ones like walked up, shot, and then backed up with their free volley, kind of with that. Like, you know, he's doing that little shooting. What it's fair to do, but he doesn't realize what I'm going to do, what is just run up. I'll do some black. Screw it. 3 units of Flame Berserkers and say, hey, let's fight. Like, he has no place to run at this point. Everything's within charge range. And he has a unit of Hunting Pack engaging my other 4 Flame Berserkers. So my first 4 cards next turn are literally just going to be Flame Berserkers. And I'm either going to trade equally or trade up. What's going to be really good. My opponent in yellow on the right side, he's making a play for this zone. I don't blame them. I'm going to come and deal with that with the Hold Raegh. Hold Raegh is going to go side march over. I have like 23 inches from my back into the table because of the reinforcement roll. I'll be able to get on that zone, and with the Hold Raegh just take it over, and then I can, you know, we can fight it out. The Hold Raegh should win against those Braves, while the Hold Warriors just sit there and act like wounds. Alright, that's turn 2. Let's get into turn 3 and see how the Flame Berserkers do. Here's turn 3. Opponent get other unit Raptor Riders, Thunder Chieftain, Thunder Riders, and the Apex. I, in return, get Hold Warriors and one of my Ironclad Drakes. So I have another Hold Warrior unit in reserve, another Ironclad Drake in reserve. This is where the list falls apart for my opponent. I'm going to explain. My Flame Berserkers are going to wipe out his front line, and then he just has his 3 heavies that need to do all the heavy lifting. And he doesn't have his front line around anymore, so now he is exposed for a peace trade, and now I can just peace trade into his closer units, like the Double Thunder Riser and the Apex, with impunity, while I have the safety of my closers, like the Double Ironclad and the Magmaforged, just kind of sitting there safe behind. And so he's got to do a lot more work and doesn't have the Raptor Riders and Slingers and Hunting Pack to clear out any of that chaff, to kind of dig deep. He's very fast, and he didn't use his speed, and I caught him and started killing stuff. So, things that go first. I believe I win the roll-off. No. He wins the roll-off, goes into these Flame Berserks, does some damage. I counter with these Flame Berserks into the Slingers, wipe them out. He then counters with the other Hunting Pack, who sidecharge these Flame Berserkers but don't do enough damage. I counter with this Flame Berserk, who wipes out the Hunting Pack and doesn't take any wounds. They're dead. And then my last Flame Berserk charges in the flank of this Hunting Pack after both those have gone and wipe out that Predator with Raptor Riders. So my opponent is down 5 cards, and haven't even lost a single card yet. The Raptors do come on, and they do shoot at these Flame Berserkers to take off a stand. What's fine, but at this point I am now positioning in such a way so that I'll do it in yellow. These two square off, and those boxes there are hindering terrain, so I'm making it in such a way that my opponent will charge me, go through the boxes, lose Inspire, lose Impacts, so I can survive that and then beat them back. And there's an Ironclad Drake who's also following up to counter those Thunder Riders in the Apex, and also make a play for the zone if he needs to be there. And then over on the right side here, you can see my Hold Raegh and his Hold Warriors getting on the zone, so I will be scoring both of these. I scored the one in the middle last turn. And now my opponent's going to have to make some tough decisions to figure out how to kill off Flame Berserkers to get into the rest of my list, while I will just sit behind Flame Berserkers and then trade into whatever they kill Flame Berserkers with, because my opponent doesn't have very many options. I am looking to, in orange here, wipe out these hunting packs so they have less, and that's kind of my next goal. So let's get into turn 4. Here's turn 4. Hunting pack, do a bunch of damage, they clash, kill, and then they like charge into whatever this looks like. I don't know. Looks like Magmaforged. Did a ton of work. I don't like that. Poor Magmaforged. Thunder Riders also killed one of the Flame Berserk units. One of the other Flame Berserk units just kind of hung out in the woods, but it got shot by like Raptor Riders. I think they just shot at people. Hunting pack, Raptor Riders did get clashed by the Magmaforged and took him down to a stand, and they rallied, so I'm still taking over that zone. I had a counter, realizing I need to like support that, throw the Hold Warriors up that side just so they can get on that zone and lock it down some more. Other unit of Flame Berserkers here on the left starts making a play to go over here and deal with those Thunder Riders and Raptor Riders. My opponent kind of dirtles around with his Thunder Chieftain back here. I then just kind of march charged my Magmaforged in just to stop them from doing impact attacks and locking them down. My opponent, you know what he did? He Apex charged those, what the heck are they? Those Flame Berserkers, so that he could free up the Raptor Riders, because I believe those Flame Berserkers went combat reformed and then charged into, or did damage into the Raptor Riders, who then got freed and then charged my Magmaforged. That's what happened there. I then counter with both Ironclad Drakes, making a beeline for the Apex. I positioned this in such a way that no matter which one the Apex go for, the other one's going to be able to hit without dealing with hindering. And also the one on the left that I'll do in black here can also see the Thunder Riders so that he can, just go over there and deal with them. I score both zones. Oh yeah, on the right side, Hold Raegh charges into the Braves. Because I had my Hold Warriors like so in this red box, they just touched the side and then swung in. So that's why they're all the way over there, but I'm doing a bunch of damage to those Braves because I need to get rid of them. And also secure that zone. So, scoring, let's go to turn 5. Here's turn 5. My opponent not necessarily baits me. It is a bait. It's more of a mind game with the deck building. He knows that I'm going to go kill the Apex because it's the most free thing. So he puts the Apex actually on the bottom of his deck. What surprised me, because if I thought he was going to do that, because let's be honest here, I don't want to lose Ironclad Drakes to Apexes, I would have probably gone with the Magmaforged first. I quickly in my deck swapped the Magmaforged and the Apex just because I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought he was going to do the Apex first, so I get Ironclad Drake into the Apex, do a bunch of damage. Then my opponent activates his Thunder Chieftain and Thunder Riders, kill off my Magmaforged over here. Really sad, poor guys are dead. I now have to play my Magmaforged, so it's the 2-stand one just clashes and kills off that Raptor. And then I forget what my opponent does. I think he does Raptor Riders who just move up and like shoot somebody to death. Or no, he shoots these guys who are still in the woods. So I just rally them later on in the game. But second Ironclad charges the Apex, kills it. Thunder Riders, march charge into that Ironclad, do a bunch of damage. I throw this Flame Berserker in there. They rally charge. I'm like, okay, whatever. We need to start dealing with these Thunder Riders. Everyone's kind of running up. And I'll do it in orange. Hold Warriors just touched the lip of that zone, so they're scoring. So we're still scoring this zone here. We have a ton of stuff on it, but we're getting ready to kill those Thunder Riders. Once those Thunder Riders in front of me are dead, I'm going to have to, I'll do it in yellow, spin around and deal with these Thunder Riders. It's going to be a pain in the ass because he's just got a free charge right into the ass of an Ironclad. So there's a good chance I'm going to lose both Ironclads, but I'm at least going to secure the kill on one Thunder Rider. Over in the middle, Flame Berserkers just run to where this empty stand is. It's in a weird spot for how that piece of hindering was, so I've set it up so that I can finally get over the objective and then charge into the Raptor Riders later on, so that'll shut those guys down. And Hold Warrior and his crew just kill off the Braves, securing that zone, scoring me points. So far, so good. Let's see if I can now kill off Thunder Riders. Let's go to turn 6. Here's turn 6. So, I believe my opponent was the roll-off. I don't know if they do anything with, like, the Thunder Riders, but I know for sure I, like, do some damage with the Ironclad. I think the Ironclad might have done a bunch of damage. Thunder Riders go, kill off that Ironclad. The Flame Berserker goes, kills off that, the Thunder Riders at some point, and then these Raptor Riders, no, they don't do anything. They get stuck in there. Never mind. I forget. So, you know, one Thunder Rider is dead, one Ironclad is dead. Then my opponent has his Thunder Chieftain and Thunder Riders coming from the butt. Kill off the other Ironclad. Sad times. I then collapse on him with the one with the Ardent Kerawegh and the Magmaforged and the Flame Berserker. That's where he is. They go into the Thunder Chieftain. He's already wounded from the Magmaforged. They did some damage, and then they also did Aura of Death. They take a bunch of damage and die. I'm like, sweet. Old Warriors stand over here, protect the zone. You need to keep it safe. Flame Berserkers charge in, do some damage to the Raptor Riders. Raptor Riders do a ton of damage back and kill off 2 stands. Not that great. Hold Warriors reform, but I am scoring both zones. All the major threats are dead. It is now just dealing with Raptor Riders, who aren't going to be able to like win the game at this point. So I'm literally just sitting here trying to kill them and mitigate them while I score up zones and go for ejector markers. So let's kind of quickly get through the next couple turns. All right, turn 7. I kill one, still live. Yay. Flame Berserker and Magmaforged go for the ejector marker, do a bunch of damage. And then the other 2 guys, you know, the 2 Hold Warriors just sit on the zone, score. Turn 8. Turn 8, kill off this ejector marker, kill off the Raptor Rider, score both zones, score out for the rest of the game. There's no place I can go to get any more points, so I just kind of sit there and we color, shake hands. Everything's good. Let's go to the score. All right, I got 46-0. Opponent didn't score any points. My opponent was way too aggressive with his lights, what allowed me to just push up in one solid wall. It's kind of what I want to do to deal with that, is to just piece trade accordingly, punish any early aggression. My opponent at that point wanted to hold back until like turn 3/4 and get that Thunder Chieftain on the table as soon as possible to have shock and keep all your pieces safe. With a speakers list, you're not really looking to fight very early. You're just trying to like threaten board position and deny your opponent places they can put their troops so that they'll have an advantage later on with how fast you are. So use your speed for your advantage. Adrian and I talked about this after the game, where him losing basically his entire front line for free caused a collapse. He did fight back, but it was not going to be enough for him to win. He played really well, but I was on the zones and I knew what to do into his list. So let's go into round 3, where I play this basically again with another variant. Okay, so here is round 3. I am playing another variant of, I think I'm just going to call him LVO Brian, like Speakers Brian. Because this style of list, he has pioneered at LVO, and that's every time I see something like this, I think back to that game with Brian, and that's why I keep calling it that. So I'm playing Michael. Michael is the number 1 player in Canada. He has the most world's points. He has got, I don't know, won the most tournaments, so he is very good at the game. Michael and I saw each other and met each other first time in the Saskatoon tournament. We didn't get to play into each other. I played Will as my round 3 in the Saskatoon tournament and beat him. Will wins this tournament based off strength of schedule. So if we did do a round 4, Will and I would have had to play, and it would have been Dweghom to Old Dominion. Will's another fabulous opponent and fantastic player. So playing both into Michael and Will, who are 1 and 2 in Canada, it's always a great time. After our games, we had breakfast with each other and, chatted about the game and everything, and then getting better and improving and hopefully sending a Canadian to Greece. And that's kind of, the game plan. I hope one of us goes there. So for this game, Michael's list, he's got double Raptor Rider, double Hunting Pack, double Thunder Riders, not double Apex, my apologies. 1 Apex, double Chosen Conquest, or as I will refer to them now on Cock. So he has double Cock. Turn 1, he gets both his Raptor Riders and his Hunting Pack. I get both my Flame Berserkers. So I played Breakout against, I believe, LB O'Brien on TTS. I played Breakout against Jeff the Monday before we did the tournament. So, Monday, then we played on Saturday. And we played Breakout specifically because we knew this was going to be one of the scenarios. So I knew what my mistakes were from Brian. I had solidified my corrections in the Jeff game, and now I'm going to apply them even more in this game. So I know things going on is that I need to, in green, take over my friendly zone. It's going to be a while for my opponent to take that ejector marker. My opponent's playing pretty aggressively. Him and Adrian were both pretty aggressive with this list, and we did talk about it where, once again, you don't need to be aggressive with this list. He could have sat 12... no, you have to be in effective range, so you have to be like 6 inches away from this thing because you have a 12-inch shot to shoot this thing properly. So he could have walked up, free marched, and then walked back. Michael didn't know that. Or I don't know if he didn't know that, but he didn't do that. But you'll see it in turn 2. But he can still put that damage on these objectives because that's what his main goal is right now with his aggression. But I think he could have saved it for later. I'm immediately making a play to have the Flame Berserkers safely go through the forest, get onto the zone, start scoring it, and then applying pressure to these Raptor Riders to get them off my zone. Hopefully lock it down. I'm making another play to get into these woods to keep the Raptor Riders off me. And hopefully keep, not necessarily keep, but like the Hunting Pack are like way out there, so hopefully not have them come in from the flank, and then put more pressure on those Raptor Riders. But I'm trying to keep it safe, so I'm not getting shot by spears yet. Michael's just putting a lot of poor positioning. I don't know if he's like too spread out. I think the one on the left could have just like sat here, and then Mike could have in black like swung this way, while I do the same and like swing this way. We could have just met in the middle. I think that might have been a better play here because in yellow, this side, as you see the game goes on, will develop into his weak flank, and it wasn't played very well. And I think he should have just played more on his stronger flank and just kind of pushed out there while having Raptor Riders. Does he have a second unit Hunting Pack? I don't think so. He could have maybe put a Cock there, but like something there to threaten, but never like take, but never allow me to just freely leave that zone. Always put a threat there, but nothing that, like, it's serious enough to do work, but not serious enough where I have to now come off the zone and deal with it, kind of thing. So let's go to turn 2. Here's turn 2. Mike gets a Cock and a Scion. I get double Magmaforged and a Hold Warrior. Yep. I don't get my other 2 Flame Berserkers, what I was kind of sad about because I kind of need them in this matchup. But Mike makes a misplay. He walks up within effective range and does 1 point of damage to like each ejector marker, especially the middle one. I think I might have saved all the ones on mine. It's fine for me. And then just kind of sat there. So I'm like, oh, okay, he's pretty far forward. We're gonna do the same thing we did into Adrian the game before. Because I'm saving these Flame Berserkers, I'm having my characters go. I'm like, okay, well, I might as well just throw up my Hold Raegh and Hold Warriors with the Magmaforged up on this side to kind of apply that pressure, and they can then sweep across the table. And if I don't know where the Thunder Riders are going just yet, so I'm a little hesitant. But my middle isn't developed enough, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I guess still got to put pressure on the right side. Let's drop a unit of Magmaforged and an Ardent Kerawegh over there who can like stop you from scoring, do some work. Put some threats, so it's enough of a threat that Mike has to deal with it. And so you can see here in blue, you know, he moves his hunting pack over. He's not going to long bomb into me like Adrian did, but he's getting ready for these guys while giving enough room for the Scion to move into the zone and score it and then fight me off. But that pulls resources away from the middle, where I just run out as not as far forward as possible, but like within threat range. And also you see these Flame Berserkers who I've wheeled a bit just to make sure like they're safe from any side threats, to get onto these Raptor Riders and hopefully kill them and get rid of them, because I need to get rid of Michael's Raptor Rider screen so I can get into those juicy Thunder Riders in Apex. Same thing as Adrian. So let's go to turn 3 and see where they deploy. Here's turn 3. I get, I believe, everything else except for a unit of Hold Warriors, but I really don't care at that point. I get everything else but the unit of Hold Warriors, which is great. Mike, on the other hand, you know, gets his Thunder Riders, Apex, Thunder Riders, and then he has a unit of Cock in reserve, but that's fine. So first thing I do, charge into a Raptor Rider. I believe I'm in the roll off, do a bunch of damage. Okay, Raptor Riders on 1. Sweet. Mike, who knows the list better than Adrian, deploys the Thunder Riders Thirst to get that shock on the table, but it's now slow, what means I then get the second unit of Flame Berserkers into the Raptor Riders and kill them off. That's not good. So now I'm kind of opening that up. At that point, you know, second unit of Thunder Riders, I don't know if they necessarily get deployed, but this might have been things in here. In the game, I don't know if these guys got wiggled off, but in this photo, it looks like they're in the forest, but when we went to the next turn, like they were off the forest and he tried to move over, then like march charge me, but then their butts would be still in the forest. I don't know at this position if they would still be in the forest or if their butts would still touch it. I can't confirm that. You know, it's been almost a week since this, but this play right here, if he could properly clear it with just a 6-inch march, he'd be good to get over and into my Magmaforged, what we're going to talk about in a moment. But he was unable to, so he just kind of moves up into a position to threaten for turn 3. So I don't know if this is just minis moved from the photo, because like when we went to check it and he went to do it, the minis were not on the woods anymore, so I'm not 100% sure. I also don't know if there would be, with a 6-inch march, enough clearance to actually pass through it and still not touch it. It's just us, like Mike and I just have to be better on that and clarify and just kind of discuss. That's really all I can say about that. On the right side of the table, Hunting Pack get moved into this corner position here to threaten my Magmaforged as he puts the Scion onto the zone. So if I'm going to go for the Scion, the Hunting Pack are going to hit me. I don't want to deal with that, so I just kind of move in such a way that I can get to the Scion. The Scion's going to have to, like, I'll do it in yellow, has to like come out wide over here and expose his flank pretty hard. I then use the reinforcement line from the Wadrhun army rule, and then just, you know, side deploy this unit of Flame Berserkers to hit these Hunting Pack to get rid of them so that they can't get to the Magmaforged, and keeps the Magmaforged flank safe. And then once the Hunting Pack are dead and the Scion and Magmaforged are in a fight, the Flame Berserkers can, you know, in orange, charge over, deal with the Scion. That'll be fine. Another misplay here is that when Mike came over, there is a stand's length between this zone and this unit, so I can actually just charge the Scion with the Magmaforged and be able to jump the zone. I checked that at the end of the turn after he placed them, and I was like, okay, sweet. That's where I want to go. Other stuff that's going on, double Ironclad Drake and a Flame Berserker in the middle. This is just to reinforce my center. There's a Thunder Rider and an Apex Predator coming down the table. The Ironclad, one of them is going to go for the objective and kill that, while the other one fights the Drake, the Apex, and then the other one that went for the objective is going to then fight the Apex after the Apex kills the first Ironclad. So that's my trade there. They're also in a position where they can, you know, spread out here if need be, due to the Thunder Riders on the, I'm just doing yellow left here coming up, if you forgot about those. So, you know, the Ironclads can kind of go split if they need to be. They're in a pretty central position, so I just have more flexibility. The Flame Berserks are literally here because they're trying to make a beeline this way. They're going to go reinforce the Magmaforged, and not necessarily deal with the Thunder Riders, but the Thunder Riders ever move in to threaten the Magmaforged, the Flame Berserkers are there to then deal with the Thunder Riders, or hopefully, charge them the flank. So overlapping those threats is what I'm doing here. As per the middle, or not the middle, the left side, Wadrhun gets into zone, scores it. Good job, dude. Need those points. And then the Magmaforged kind of like wiggle in such a way that I'm actually looking to do a weird side charge into Thunder Riders if they ever try and kill those Flame Berserkers. The Thunder Riders won't get on the zone. And then the Magmaforged, even fighting in the water, will be in the flank. What will then hopefully open up enough space that the Hold Warrior, the Hold Warriors and Wadrhun can get into the Thunder Riders, because either he's going to drop his second unit cock on the left side, or he's going to drop the second unit cock on the right side. He will have to make that decision, but I'm kind of overlapping these threats so that I can stay safe and I can deal with whatever's coming. Let's go to turn 4. Here's turn 4. Good things that happen. Magmaforged into the Scion. Scion into the Magmaforged. We both break each other. But he does not score the zone because I have more stands than him. Because that's 6 to his 2. So yay. He gets his other unit of cock on the table. He's going to make a play for the right side. I believe my Flame Berserkers are actually first to go. The first one kills off these ones kill off those Raptor Riders, or those Hunting Pack. My apologies, getting these names confused. So they're dead. And the other one goes and kills off the Raptor Rider, trying to bait in the Thunder. Do they try and bait in the Thunder Riders? Maybe? I don't know. Looks like they're there. It looks like they kill them and then like shuffle over. They might have just died to Ore of Death, to be honest, that Raptor Rider. But Thunder Riders, we should do some blue. Come up within 1 inch. So he's not actually charging me or getting me stuck in combat. I'm just moving over to try and like bait him into the water. Him not wanting to go in the water, he just marches up within 1 inch, so he has no way but to charge me in such a way that he won't be in the water. And I'm like, oh, curses. So I just shuffle everything around here in response. This is where we have what I talked about earlier. I'll do it in green here, where these Thunder Riders couldn't get over the piece of terrain, because when we looked at it when they were starting, the Thunder Riders, I guess, wiggled off the piece if they were on, or they weren't all the way on just due to the picture angle. I'm not sure. I'm not going to contest that or anything, but realizing that my opponent just kind of marches over the piece of forest because he won't be able to get a march charge, what safely allows my Magmaforged to get into the Scion and do a bunch of work. To counter that, or not necessarily counter that, but to put on more threats and keep some more stuff safe, I put the Flame Berserkers on there. This Drake, I'll just do it in black, failed me. He was supposed to roll like a 2 and roll double 1s and failed to get onto the objective. The other one rolled a 2 and killed the objective marker. So I guess you're going to be the Drake to go fight the Apex. The Apex just kind of walks up the table and puts threats out. No, he doesn't really put threats out. He kills off my Flame Berserker unit here. They were destined to die, but they killed a unit of Raptor Riders and kind of put an Apex in a position where there's 2 Drakes and a unit of Flame Berserkers waiting for them, so we're going to see how that fight pulls out. So far, doing well. Cock on the right side, going for those Flame Berserkers, reinforce that side. So the screen is dead for my opponent once again, like the last game, and now I just need to trade pieces into his closers to kill them out and keep the score lead going and play out the rest of the game. So let's go to turn 5. Here's turn 5. First thing I do, Ironclad into the flank of the Apex, does a ton of damage and kills it. Thunder Riders into these Flame Berserkers, just kills them. They're dead. They do not crush go. They do not collect $200. Other Ironclad has to go through forest, but charges them and does some damage, but mostly just gets them stuck in melee. I don't want to be charged anymore. That's bad. Next thing what happens, Scion just kills off the Magmaforged and then charges into the flank of the Flame Berserkers. The Flame Berserkers inspire Clash, killing off the Scion on the Chosen Conquest. The other Chosen Conquest just march charge into the Flame Berserkers, doing more impact attacks, and the Flame Berserkers are just kind of hanging out there. I, to counter, move up my Hold Warriors just to get them into the zone so that he has to kill them to score that zone. Tying them down, giving me more space to have my Ironclads come over that side. On the left side there, Thunder Riders and Thunder Chieftain kill off the Flame Berserkers, who takes some Ore of Death, and then I proceed to collapse the Magmaforged into the flank, even in the water, do a bunch of damage. And then the Hold Warrior, or the Wadrhun, I need to roll a 4 to get in. from that position to that position, I decide, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to jump the objective, and then I'll just charge him next turn, because he's already locked in there with the Magmaforged. And if he wants to spin around, he's going to expose his flank to the Hold Warriors and Hold Raegh. And yeah, that's fine with me. So let's go in that zone. Let's go to turn 6. Here's turn 6. I believe the Thunder Riders go first. I think it might be this guys. They do some wounds to the Ironclad. The Ironclad lives. I then have... I don't know if both Ironclads go. I couldn't really remember, to be honest. They might have both gone. One Ironclad does a bunch of damage, fails to kill. The second Ironclad comes in from behind. And we have this maneuver, what I've dubbed the Iron DP. That is all. Over on the right side, Scions take some damage from Flame Berserkers. Scions kill off Flame Berserkers and charge the Hold Warriors. Kill a stand, but I have stands on it. He does not have any stands. Hold Warriors fight back, kill off a stand. Yay. I don't know if this battle is going to change out anymore, but he is still, once again, not on the zone, and I am, so he is not scoring that zone. Over on the other side, I believe the Thunder Riders lose a stand to Aura of Death or something, reform, clash. Alright, I get the Magmaforged in there and do a bunch of damage. The Hold Raegh, he's just kind of hanging out, or he gets the charge in and does a bunch of damage. But in the end of the day, Thunder Riders die. That's scored for me, that zone, and I'm not going to move those pieces anymore because there's no reason to. The only thing I need to kill is that objective on the, I'll do it in black, on the right side, and control that zone and get rid of my opponent's last piece. So let's go to turn 7 and see if I do that. Here's turn 7. We both, I don't know, maybe I'll just do it in black. I'll just do it in black. We both trade a stand. It's fine. And then both Ironclads just reform charge the objective, getting on the zone, scoring that zone. And at this point, I believe my opponent calls it. I'm going to kill off his last thing, and I'm going to sit there with the Ironclads and everything and just score up to win. So that's the game. Let's go to the score. Once again, do really well with the score. Kept my opponent off the objectives. My opponent got super aggressive with his list. Same thing as my Adrian, the opponent before. Michael was fantastic to play. I basically played 2 Mikes, so I needed a way to differentiate them. So I'm going to call round 3 Michael instead of Mike. I believe he's Ardent on the Discord. So if you're ever wanting to talk to Mike, he's Ardent. Fantastic player. Had a great time with him. We chatted after. We talked about strategies and different things. He realized early on that him being too aggressive and then me punishing his aggression was kind of led to the downfall, similar to Adrian. And then I let him know, you really don't want to be starting fights at until turn 3, and you don't want to be, me running at you. You just want to pull back, play it safe. Don't give me that opportunity at all. One of the issues there is that he very much gave me that opportunity, and I feel I know with Brian would have just backed up, because that's what he did. He just backed up so that there wasn't the opportunity to begin with, because he's waiting for turn 3, turn 4, so that he can actually get that shock and that charge off to do that ton of damage. Mike was he was good on turn 3 where he deployed the Thunder Riders, but it was already too little too late, because he needed to do his work activations first, even without shock, just because he didn't trade the Raptor Riders for anything, and that's a massive point sink, and that's a massive card advantage for myself. What trickled down to the point where he was just losing activations for nothing just because I had outpositioned him and was in a better spot and was in places to trade, and then he's trying to scrape back. So yeah, he's killing stuff and taking things, but I've done enough damage that I can kind of just piece trade at that point to then carry myself to a victory. And that's the game. I came second. Yeah, hold on. Let me just swap the slide. There it is. Tournament of Love. So, for the lineup, Funky Fellow. This is Will from round 3 of the Saskatoon tournament that you can watch the battle reports. He plays Old Dominion. Very good player. Great time playing him. He wins. He does it. He is the funkiest of fellow. Congratulations to Will. I got second to this one again. Good job myself. Played 3 guard games. I'm glad that Mike and I actually played. I wanted to play him after he won Saskatoon because I wanted to, see his chops and everything and all that stuff. But He's a fantastic player, super nice guy, great to talk to, great to develop more of the game. We were chatting, and he's like, usually everyone gives up round 4. I'm like, nah, man, we got to play her out. We'll do it in blue. And Mike is third. He is a fantastic player. I believe he's number 1 in Canada, so hopefully one of us goes to Greece. Hopefully we get some more spots. Luke, also a fantastic player. He got 4th there. MMA Mayhem, that's Liam from Millennial Model Mayhem, also known as Conquest Jesus. So, pretty good players up there. We all had a great time. A lot of us drove out after, but Michael and Will live in Edmonton. We were staying in Edmonton that night, so next morning we had breakfast together, chatted about the game for quite a while, drank a lot of coffee, had a great time, really enjoyed myself, had a good time talking to all the other people there. I talked to Hans, I saw Luke again. There was a gentleman, it might have been Luke actually, who was like embarrassed to talk to me. He's like, oh, I can't talk to a content. I was like, you guys can come up and talk to me. Plenty of people come up and talk to me. It's really funny because I'll be in a room and people will know my voice and come and talk to me. You're more than welcome to come and talk to me, guys. I always enjoy talking about Conquest. I always enjoy talking about the game. Always talking about dumb stuff. Overall, Tom, who is the host at the Tournament of Love, the TO, did a fantastic job setting everything up, making sure everything was on time, giving shoutouts for when time was getting close to being done. He did a great job. The venue was super nice. He picked out an awesome spot. He made sure there was like a $15 buy-in for pizza. Pizza arrived very timely. There was drinks. It was awesome. Tom, you did a great job. I would for sure come down to Tournament of Love 2 Electric Boogaloo. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed these games. Subscribe and like. Join the BonkTable Discord in the description below. And hopefully you get to play one of these players in the future. They're great guys and great opponents. I had a blast, and I hope if you do end up playing them, you do too. All right. Bye.